Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we're talking about the new Forbidden Unlimited list, and I have actually already checked this out on stream, so if you want to go check that out, you can go check out my live reaction. But I'm just going to go over the implications for the new ban list, and overall, my thoughts. The video I made previously was just a bit too long, so we're going to go over this real quick. And I'm just going to show you all of the stuff here. So we have, starting off, 5 Rainbow Magician being limited. I think this card should just be banned. Don't know why we're limiting it. I did expect a little bit of a bigger ban list as well. So not seeing anything banned is a little annoying. I wanted like King Calamity banned in particular. That was the biggest thing with Super Heavy Samurai that I think was creating issues that I would have liked to have seen. Now Super Heavy Samurai loses to things like Maxi and Droll, which are pretty prevalent in the current metagame. Also, that line does lose to Nibiru, which is also pretty prevalent, and so there's that. But in terms of the Duelist Cup, honestly, it was pretty even. There wasn't like a clear best deck or anything like that, so you could play a wide variety of decks, and I think that's pretty nice. So when it comes to the ban list, I'm not surprised that it's as loose as this one. And I know you're about to say, oh, but what about Snake Eye? And we'll get to that. But starting off, 5 Rainbow Magician being limited, I think it's fine. I think it's good. I would have liked to have seen it banned. Other than that, it's not really that big of a deal. Putting it to 1 means that you're less likely to see it, and it makes it not as useful. And I think more players are less likely to play it, and it probably won't be... I mean, it only ever shows up during the Duelist Cup anyway, as just in auto win, basically. And there's a bunch of cards like that, so this doesn't really change much, but there you go. Next up, we have Super Heavy Samurai Wagon being semied, along with Nadir Servant, Kashtira Unicorn, and Kashtira Birth. Starting off with Wagon, this is basically a tap on the wrist for Super Heavy Samurai. It's negligible at best. It doesn't really change anything with their combo, or with their end boards, or with anything, so that doesn't really do anything, except hit a minor consistency, so that's okay. Honestly, Super Heavy Samurai is fine at the moment, so yeah. I would have liked to have seen maybe a limitation to, like, Scarecrow, the extra deck monster, because that at least creates interesting game patterns and can change the way that the deck interacts and plays against other decks and stuff like that. So, you know, potentially, like, having Ghost Ogre to pop the Scarecrow to deal with it that way, or something along those lines, can really create some interesting dynamics with that deck, and that to me would have been a lot more interesting. Nadir Servant being semi-limited is pseudo hits to both Lab and Branded. Branded played a Nadir Servant in a few of the deck lists, and I've seen Branded players playing it. I don't think it's very good, but I've seen them playing it. And Lab has also been playing it. I don't think it's great right now, just in general. I think it's just not as useful, but it's okay. So, yeah, the semi-limitation is fine. It's also a card that has previously been on the limited list, so that's probably why they were more likely to hit it. I would have liked to have seen, like, a myriad of other cards. For example, Power Sink Stone. That would have been a good limitation. Like, put it to 1. They already put 5 Rainbow Magician, you know, banning Albion. The Sanctifier Dragon would have been a good option as well to cut off any of the, like, Gimmick Puppet or Jowgin or anything like that kind of locks from Branded. That would have been my choice, but Nadir Servant to 2 is whatever. Kashtira Unicorn to 2 kind of hurts some decks a little, but not really. It kind of hurts consistency for Kashtira style builds, and basically what ended up being the most prevalent in Snake Eyes was playing the Kashtira cards, notably Unicorn, as just a way to get another body onto your field and to play around Maxi. That was kind of it. You basically just got to slap down Unicorn for free, and in something like the Duelist Cup, that matters a lot more, to be able to play around Maxi. I think in regular games, I say regular, as in the ladder, I think it doesn't matter as much, and this doesn't do anything, so, I did kind of expect this to be limited in some capacity, but, yeah, doesn't really do anything. Next up, we have Kashtira Birth. Don't know why this card is coming to 2. I hate this card. This card is probably the most poorly designed card in Kashtira, and that's saying something, because they have Fenrir and a Rise Heart. I hate it. It's just a horrible card. It should go back to 1 and then go back to 0 and then get unprinted and should never have existed. This is a horribly designed card. Moving on. They have some unlimits, which I do like. I like how willing Konami is in Master Duel to unlimit cards. This is genuinely a good thing. Armageddon Knight is not doing anything. This card could absolutely come to 3. That's fine. I know, like, 2 decks. Like, genuinely 2 decks that would play more Armageddon Knight. And that is Phantom Knights, which I don't care about that deck. That's not doing anything anyway. And Orchist, which is Pog. I like Orchist. Orchist is fun, so I do enjoy the Armageddon Knight going back to 3. It's honestly not going to really change much, and honestly, I don't know if Armageddon Knight would even see play in Orchist at 3. I'd rather play Dangers, you know? And then Pearly Pretty Memory. Now, I like Pearly. But Pearly basically didn't do anything since the last limitations that they did to it, but they didn't want to kill the deck. And you could pretty much tell that by the way that they limited the deck. And I think the biggest issue isn't necessarily that Pretty Memory is limited or anything like that, but it's the fact that we are missing Noir, the E-Pearly Noir, right? Not the big one, the big unaffected guy, but the other one that sets Pearly Yeep and stuff like that. And so because of that, I still don't think Pearly is going to really do a whole lot. I just don't think it can keep up without the E-Pearly Noir. However, with this unlimit, it is likely that the E-Pearly does show up. At least, maybe not in the next pack, but maybe within the next 2. I don't want to say for certain, but we could also potentially be getting a secret pack for Pearly, and E-Pearly is going to go in there. That is a possibility that I just thought of. Don't know if that's the case, but with the unlimit, makes sense. Pearly kind of just dropped off the face of the earth, so it is nice to see these come back. I think there's still Delicious at 1, which is like the biggest thing, but they put Pretty Memory to 2, which was very odd. So, yeah. All in all, though, what are my thoughts on the ban list? It's fine. I would have liked to have seen a little bit of a bigger ban list for the Duelist Cup. But I don't hate this. They do a ban list every month. I think this is a fine ban list. I would like to see more bannings, more actual limitations, and not these non-hits that don't really change anything. So, yeah, it would be nice, but are they ever going to do that? Probably not. They do things really, I would say slowly, but I mean, it's technically faster than like in the TCG or OCG. But I do like all the unlimits. I think it's great. And the game could be a little bit better for best of ones, most notably hitting a lot of like floodgates and stuff like that just auto win you the game. But Konami's never going to do that. They're never going to ban Maxi. That's just not a thing. We have to live with that. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.